Today's episode of Voiced is from r/Amitha Butthole and is about 3 users who found themselves in the middle of some very awkward situations. Who do you think was actually in the wrong? Subscribe if you enjoy.
AITA for making a scene with my adult son and sticking my nose in his marriage. I'm 60 and bad with the whole text thing on mobile phones, so I'm hoping I won't be judged on my grammar. Here's the important background. My daughter-in-law, who is 32 years old, and my son, who is 33 years old, have 3 children aged 3 years, 2 years, and 4 months. He convinced her to be a stay-at-home mom and sell her business by telling her how good of a childhood he had and how happy my marriage was, without telling her that our arrangement was everything before 9 a.m. After 5 p.m., it was split 50-50. Sunday was my day off, and I was taken out twice a week. On to the story. On my last visit, I noticed my daughter-in-law was struggling mentally. So I, my sister, 55-year-old female, and her girlfriend, 53-year-old female, pulled our money together and paid for a spa weekend for them while we'd babysit the kids for her birthday last weekend. I was preparing on Thursday evening for the kids to arrive when my daughter-in-law rang me, holding back tears, saying they wouldn't be going because my son's friend came to town and he said he wanted to spend the weekend with his friends, catching up. I pressed her a little and talked about her situation. She came clean about him doing no chores, no date nights, and her basically doing all of the childcare because that's what stay-at-home moms do. I was honestly disgusted. I convinced her to drop off the kids and bring a friend to the spa. I even dipped into my savings to give her $500 to buy herself something nice. When she dropped off the kids, I begged her to tell me where my son was. After 5 minutes, she told me he was at the bar. She left for the spa while I left for the bar. She knew I was going there and knew my sister-in-law were taking care of the kids. Here's where I might be the asshole. I went to the bar where he and his friends were. I sat down next to the group and asked my son, did I fail you as a mother, or was it your father, because we both thought your partner comes before your silly drunk friends. The post is getting long enough, but long story short, I humiliated him and got myself banned from a bar. My daughter-in-law said she will be taking the kids to her parents when she gets back tomorrow. And my son is calling me an asshole for humiliating him and sticking my nose in his marriage. Maybe I should have stayed out, I don't know. Edit. I just wanted to say I'm heartbroken, not by any judgment towards me or my parenting skills, but by the fact that so many people are shocked that I care about my daughter-in-law's mental health and stood up for her against my son's bad behavior. I just want to say as a mother, my advice is treat your daughter, son, or non-binary in-laws as you would want your own children to be treated. Respect goes a long way.
Wow, talk about a complex family dynamic. It's clear that this mother stepped into a situation with her son and daughter-in-law that was already boiling over. Now, let's switch gears completely. Imagine this. A joyous occasion is on the horizon, but it comes with its own set of challenges. A new addition to the family has brought immense happiness, but also some unexpected tension. Stay tuned to see how one bride-to-be navigates the delicate balance between family expectations and her personal commitments.
Are you in the wrong for not letting your beloved baby niece be your flower girl at your wedding? My 27-year-old older brother and sister-in-law, both in their mid-30s, just welcomed their first child a year and a half ago, after years of trying. After many failed attempts, my sister-in-law was told that she wouldn't be able to conceive due to a medical condition she has. They finally got pregnant. Since having my niece, the baby has been the center of attention at every family event we've had since she was born, birthdays, weddings, family get-togethers, you name it. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my niece. But it can get to be a little too much when my sister-in-law goes on and on about how long they tried to conceive, complications they've had, miscarriages they've had, etc. Like a little too much information. Many family members have commented on how it's a little bit excessive, but no one has said anything because they don't want to sound like a jerk. Anyway, I am getting married in the spring, and my brother and sister-in-law approached me last weekend about having my niece be the flower girl. Now, my fiancé, 35-year-old male, has 2 children, 10-year-old male and 6-year-old female, from his previous marriage. His son is one of his groomsmen, while his daughter had asked to be our flower girl when we told them the news that we were getting married a year ago, as it's something she always wanted to do. So of course we said yes. So I explained this to my sister-in-law when she asked me about my niece. She asked if my stepdaughter could just carry my niece with her. I said I don't think she'd be comfortable with that, considering she's 6. She then asked why I couldn't give that role to my niece and allow herself to carry my niece down as the flower girl. I said no, because I had already promised my stepdaughter. She then started going off about how my lack of effort to incorporate my niece is disgusting to her. I should honor her in some way, since I know how long and hard they tried for my niece. Now, I may sound like a jerk for this, but I kinda got fed up and snapped and said, incorporate my niece how? By the time the wedding comes around, she'll be 2 years old. The entire family already knows your story about how long and hard you guys tried for her. What more do you expect me to do to honor her? She started crying and said that clearly I don't love my one and only niece, and I'm letting her down. I said, of course, I love my niece, and obviously she is going to be involved in pictures and stuff, but I am not going to let my stepdaughter down by giving my niece a role she's too young to remember anyway. Well, now CL and my brother are upset with me for not letting my niece be the flower girl, and are telling the rest of the family I don't love my niece. My mom has been trying to stay neutral, but thinks my stepdaughter would understand if I explained to her I need to give that role to my niece. I am firm in my decision, though, and my fiancé is thankful that I did not let his daughter down. Am I the asshole for not allowing my niece to be the flower girl?
Wow, talk about a family drama. It's amazing how quickly things can escalate when expectations and emotions collide. But let's take a quick breath and dive into something completely different. Imagine this. You're at a party, having a great time, and then suddenly, everything changes. You find yourself in the middle of a situation that you never saw coming. It's not about family dynamics or wedding roles anymore. It's about a costume choice that turns into a major controversy. Let's see what happens when a well-meaning guest finds out they've attended a wedding in disguise. So my friend, who is a 20-year-old female, and I, who am a 19-year-old male, have been friends for a few years, and she recently got engaged. A week ago, I got a direct message from her about a small costume party she was hosting to celebrate her engagement. I asked if there was a theme, and she said there wasn't. I'm a cosplayer, so I had a lot of choices. I didn't want to show up in an anime cosplay, so I thought it would be funny to go to an engagement party as the corpse bride. I arrived at her house yesterday, and everything seemed normal. A few people complimented my costume, and I was having a lot of fun. After 10 minutes, my friend's fiancé walked out in a black tuxedo and announced that this was actually their wedding. Apparently, my friend saw a video of someone doing this and wanted to do the same. He asked us all to go to the backyard for the ceremony to begin. I went straight to him. I asked him if I should quickly go home and change my outfit, and that I would get back before it started. He told me it was fine since I didn't know this was a wedding. I trusted him and followed everyone outside. They got married, and everything seemed fine. The reception was just in their house again, so everyone just walked back inside and picked up where they left off. I tried talking to my friend and celebrating with her, but she kept making excuses to not talk to me. I assumed it was just because she was tired from the big day and wanted some alone time. I didn't bother her after that, and the party soon ended. I got home and half an hour passed when my phone started getting notifications. I checked, and it was my friend texting me. She was cursing at me and telling me how I ruined her wedding. I was really confused and asked what I did. That only made her even angrier. She told me it was common sense not to wear a wedding dress to a wedding. I reminded her I had no idea it was a wedding and that I asked her now husband if I should change, and he said it was fine. She didn't respond, but I got a text from her husband. He asked why I would tell her he said it was fine. I told him he said it was fine. Then he said I should have changed anyway, and it's my fault that the two of them are now fighting over this. I've tried texting her that I was sorry, and if I had known, I wouldn't have done it. I woke up today and saw her and her husband have blocked me on everything. So, am I the asshole for not changing out of the wedding dress when I found out it was actually a wedding? I am a guy. I cosplayed the character Emily from The Corpse Bride and had blue paint all over. I'm also Australian, and I've never heard that a costume party means fancy dress. Everyone was dressed up in funny costumes. Before I talk about today's posts, please consider subscribing to stay updated on more engaging content like this. Today, we have some really interesting Reddit posts that sparked a lot of debate. First up, we have a mom who stepped in when she saw her daughter-in-law struggling with her son's lack of support. She ended up making a scene at the bar where he was hanging out with friends and got herself banned from it. I mean, talk about going all out. It's clear that this mom is passionate about standing up for what she believes in, but did she go too far? Let me know your thoughts on this one. Next, we have a bride-to-be who refused to let her niece be the flower girl at her wedding because she had already promised the role to her stepdaughter. Her sister-in-law was not happy about it and accused her of not loving her niece enough. This is a tough situation where family dynamics are at play. What do you think? Should she have reconsidered? Lastly, we have a guy who showed up to his friend's engagement party dressed as the corpse bride, only to find out it was actually their wedding. He got into hot water for not changing out of his costume. I mean, how was he supposed to know? This one has a lot of layers, and I'd love to hear your take on it. So, which side are you on in these heated debates? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Voiced. If you enjoyed daily, high-quality stories, please like and subscribe to show your support.